Tulip, what are you doing? You've been typing for 3 hours.
You told me we needed 100 enemies for the new level, Dad. I'm almost done. My fingers are going numb, though.
No, Tulip, stop. You don't type it out 100 times, you use a loop. Welcome to the lab. Have you ever been in this situation where you want to repeat a task multiple times, but you don't want to type it out line by line? Well, that's what loops are for. There are different types of loops, and different languages handle them in different ways. Today we are going to master the while loop, the for loop, the for each loop, and learn how to stop them from crashing your code. Let's dive in. Let's start with the while loop. In most languages, the while loop will look something like this. What this block of code is saying is, while I is less than or equal to 10, print the current number and then add 1 to I. This will iterate through the numbers from 1 to 10 and print them in the console.
But be careful. If your exit condition is never met, the loop may run forever and consume massive CPU time, spam output, or even exhaust memory, depending on what happens inside the loop.
Precisely. Always keep in mind to check if you have a way to leave the loop before running the code, or consequences may happen. Yeah, something like that.
Oops, wasn't paying attention, Papa. I'm sorry.
It's fine, just be careful and always use proper exit conditions, unless you're making something that's supposed to run forever.
Wait, so sometimes infinite loops are actually useful?
Absolutely. In game development, many systems are designed to run continuously while the game is open. This is called a game loop. As long as the game is running, we want to continuously read player input, update the game world, draw everything on screen. Without the loops like this, your game would freeze after a single frame.
The important part is that professional game engines usually include ways to safely pause, exit, or control the loop.
Exactly. Infinite loops are dangerous when accidental, but powerful when intentional.
So the problem wasn't the loop itself.
It was a programmer behind the keyboard.
Rude.
The compiler is innocent. The programmer is usually the problem.
Wow, whose side are you on?
The side of readable code.
Alright, settle down you two. Daisy does have a point though. While loops are extremely flexible, but they're not always the cleanest solution. If you already know where you're starting, how long you're looping for, and how much you're incrementing each time, then most languages give you something more specialized, the for loop. Notice how compact this is compared to the while loop version, while maintaining the same functionality.
Everything is contained in one neat line: initialization, condition, and increment.
So it's basically a while loop that cleaned its room.
That's actually a surprisingly good explanation. Now, because everything is neatly defined, for loops are usually safer for counting loops, but that doesn't mean you can't break them.
Oh no.
For example, if you remove the condition, you've just created another infinite loop.
So it's still a while loop, just wearing a different outfit.
Why do all loops secretly want to destroy everything?
They don't. They just do exactly what you tell them to do. And if you tell them loop forever, they will happily obey.
So there's no escape?
There is. Really? Don't write bad conditions.
Figures you'd say that.
And maybe save your work before running experiments. Now, so far we've been controlling the loops with counters and conditions. But what if we don't care about counting?
That sounds dangerous.
It sounds efficient.
Exactly, because sometimes you're not looping through numbers, you're looping through data. In those cases, we use something called a for each loop. Instead of saying start at 0, go until the end, and manually increment, we just say for each item in this collection, do something with it.
So it just grabs them one by one?
Without you needing to track positions.
That sounds like cheating.
That sounds like not being inefficient.
And importantly, you can't accidentally forget to increment the counter.
So it's the safe loop?
It's the I trust collection, not programmer loop. But that doesn't mean it solves everything.
It still depends on the data being valid.
So everything is dangerous again.
Welcome to programming.
And that's been our lesson on loops. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment down what other aspects of programming you'd like us to deep dive into, and provide a clear explanation on, and most of all, subscribe for more classes to come. I'm Professor Leo, alongside my twins Tulip and Daisy, and class dismissed.